for a closer look at that debate, we bring in NBC's chief White House correspondent, Kristen Welker, here with us in the studio. Kristen, as one of the moderators put it last night, the big elephant not in the room, Donald Trump. We'll get to him in just a moment, but let's talk about the folks who were on the stage last night. Who stood out most to you? What surprised you most?
I think what surprised me most is that this was not the debate we were expecting. We were expecting Governor Ron DeSantis, who's #2 in the polls to former President Trump, to really be in the spotlight. Instead, it was newcomer Vivek Ramaswamy who really was front and center last night. You saw all of these heated exchanges with former Vice President Mike Pence, with UN Ambassador Nikki Haley. And I think that undoubtedly increased his name recognition. I think more people know his name today. The question is, does it cut both ways? He was also on the receiving end of some pretty serious attacks. Pence called him a rookie. You had Haley saying that basically he has no foreign policy experience, and it shows. And Christie saying he sounds like ChatGPT. So how will Republican voters respond? That remains to be seen. Ron DeSantis walked away from this pretty unscathed. So to some extent, it's a bit of a win for him. And also, I thought it was notable that former President Trump, yes, there were questions about him. The majority of the candidates standing on that stage said they would support him, even if he's convicted of crimes. But really, this was a debate about policy.
Speaking of policy, it was interesting to hear the candidates talk about the war in Ukraine and how they would handle that differently. It was a little, to also hear them talk about President Trump when they finally got to him about an hour into the debate. In terms of the policy divisions that were laid bare last night, how do you think that affects the campaigns going forward? What storylines do you see emerging going forward?
Well, I think Ukraine, as you say, Craig, is going to be a big issue. We really saw this divide within the Republican Party. You saw the traditional conservative, strong on foreign policy position from candidates like Nikki Haley, Mike Pence, Governor Chris Christie. On the other hand, you saw the isolationist wing of the party in Ron DeSantis and Vivek Ramaswamy, who said, look, we don't think we should be putting more money toward funding Ukraine. We think it should be going to the southern border. That's a popular position with GOP primary voters. If you look at the polls, the other big issue was abortion. You had Pence and a lot of the other candidates endorsing a national ban. Nikki Haley really trying to cast herself as a pragmatist, saying there just aren't the votes for that in Congress, underscoring how complicated this issue is heading into the general election. And remember, a majority of Americans are opposed to Roe v. Wade being overturned.
Our chief White House correspondent, Kristen Welker. Good to have you. Thank you, Kristen.
Great to be here. Thanks.
Hey, thanks for watching. Don't miss the Today Show every weekday at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 Pacific on our streaming channel, Today All Day. To watch, head to today.com/allday or click the link right here.